So what I want us to realize here is that they're putting all of this data, your banking information, your digital ID, all of these things into a microchip. And of course, right now they're saying it's going onto a digital card, but eventually they want to unite, the human body with technology. And so at some point they may want to transition and put a chip into individuals, simply the system that's going to be used to enforce the mark of the beast.
Look at your screen right now. This is the World Economic Forum, the same report that mentioned the various systems you won't be able to access without being a part of the digital society. This was rolled out February 2022. Look at the table in the red box, digital ID, and it gives the now, the evolution, and the future. Look at the now. Digital ID, it says browsers, apps, and mobile devices. But notice in the future, next level of data intermediaries embedded in the body, embedded in your body, devices, homes, in the cities. What? How can you have a digital ID in a city, in a home? But remember, they also mention bodies. Marie, back to you.
Yes. And so, again, we're going to show how they're going to add another layer to this digital ID here. So we're going to take
hold on. Marie, so are we to take these chips in our bodies?
Of course not. No.
So here we are looking at the robots. They're making the iRobots. Understand, we human beings, they want to make into robots. Put chips in us. They can control us. And remember, the chips don't have to be embedded only. It can also be on our bodies with the so-called smart devices we have, i.e. your smart watches and other things, earbuds. Marie, carry on.
It's true. It's conditioning, and they're getting closer and closer. But yes, as I stated, we're going to see how they're adding another layer to this. The article goes on to say that the digital ID is going to be upgraded and they're going to include health records. And not only are they going to include health records, but they're going to link it to your banking transactions. So again, you have to look at this and think about what just previously took place with the pandemic. So imagine what would have happened if you chose to be non-compliant during that crisis. They're telling you that your health records are going to be linked to your bank account. And so can you imagine losing access to your bank account, not being able to buy and sell? And so this is why we're saying this is the no buying, no selling system that they're introducing here. The article goes on to say, it says, in line with another banking rule, authorities have announced that all bank accounts not linked to the biometrics of the owner will be shut down from the start of next year. And what is interesting about this, it says after the deadline, you will be unable to carry out certain online financial transactions. Neither will they be able to withdraw or transfer money using their ATM. That is startling to think that you can have money and not be able to withdraw it or to be able to pay a bill online simply because you refuse to comply with the system. You refuse to give them your biometrics. The system is here if you really want to be able to see it.
They don't need to go to a judge to get a warrant. No, they can simply access these things through your biometrics. So now that would completely, inspired words, repudiate every principle of the U.S. Constitution. We're seeing it now. And this is the mark of the beast system, the platform, as if you're building a house. The foundation is being laid. The pillars are going up. Very, very soon, they'll put on the roof, Marie, and bring in the furniture. That's how close we are. The next thing is the roof and the furniture. The house is being built. Babylon's house is being rebuilt. And God's people are still asleep. And that's why during that Global World Summit, when Pipem Malgrim mentioned that there is going to be blockchain, everything is going to be digital, nothing analog, and this is going to be be forced upon society, she actually said, we will need a new constitution because this digitalized system will nullify every principle of freedom in the Constitution. Wake up, my friends.
And what's interesting about that is people that are not in the truth, present truth, they can see what's coming. And this is why it's frightful to think that there are those who have the Bible and the spirit of prophecy who know what's supposed to take place and they totally disregard these things. So let us pray that the Lord will give us heavenly eye salve so that we'll be able to see. So now we're going to see how they're also linking your social media access to this digital ID, to this system here. It says Vietnam tightens social media regulations with mandatory user authentication. Only authenticated accounts will be permitted to post and to share content on social media. And like I said, of course, they talk about the fact that, they're trying to get rid of harmful content. But as I've stated previously, I don't know about you, but I've had content I put on social media, nothing that I thought, was inappropriate, and they took it down or they put some sort of warning on it. So can you imagine once this system goes into place, those of us that are proclaiming the three angels message, those of us that are pointing out who Babylon really is, right? They're going to say that's hate speech and they can remove your content, but not only remove your content, it goes a step further. You won't be able to transact. You have a mark against you. Imagine when they roll out the social credit system, right? And you keep bucking the system, your score goes lower and lower and lower. You're going to be cut off from everything. I hope we can see this here.
Now, let's make sure they can see it, Marie. I'm going to go back to that chart, that diagram, and just let the people see now. Because remember, you mentioned the financial services would be cut off if you do not present your biometrics, if you're not a part of the digital-only society. But the last thing you mentioned now is social media. And if you look at the wheel, if you look at about between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, you see social platforms. Take it away, Marie. So let's people think that what the World Economic Forum put out there, Klaus Schwab, the Pope of Rome, that is their goal by 2028, 2030. You're seeing it now, and different nations are already implementing and also saying, if you don't go along with the system, you won't be able to access social media platforms, banking services, healthcare. Do you know what's next? You see, friends, some people can do without social media. I hope. Some folks might be able to do without humanitarian response. But when it comes on to food, look at the wheel. Look between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. When it comes on to food, I wonder how many people will then sell their souls to get food because they did not get prepared.
We talked about the fact that Vietnam is introducing this super app, this everything app, which is going to be all encompassing. It's going to include everything, all of these digital systems, right? And so now we're going to see how.
I don't live in Vietnam. I don't live in Kuwait. You see, I don't live in India. So we are okay over here, Marie.
Not so at all. We're going to see how this same idea of an everything app is already being introduced here in the United States.
And that's what I want people to see. Whether it's the UN, WEF, the Pope, or Elon Musk, the plans are the same. They all converge at the same point.